What's cracking, traders? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the team that took me to Legend in the Tales of Transformation season. We conquered it at last after the roller coaster that this season has been. We were able to cross the line in the Mega Master League of all things. Now, this team I had played back in the last rotation of Mega Master League earlier in the season, but I played it so late in the rotation I was never able to make a video on it. And so it seems like we've come full circle now, and the lead of choice for this team is going to be Zekrom. Zekrom, for me, has been such an amazing lead on this team because the electric damage from Fusion Bolt threatens so many of the water types that are dominating this format, and then it has play into Zacian because of the electric subtyping on Zekrom. You're able to actually resist the steel type damage that it has, and a close combat does not fully knock out. I will say that my Zekrom IVs are 15, 14, 14, and I found out that 14 defense actually drops you a bulk point, so you take 1 extra damage in the Palkia Origin matchup when your best buddy boosts are equipped or not equipped. So either you and your opponent both have it or they don't have it. If they have it and you don't, you just lose that bulk point anyway. But I would best buddy your Zekrom if you're going to best buddy anything on this team. I don't have a best buddy on mine, and you're going to notice in the video, but just so you are aware, if you want to best buddy something, that would be the ideal thing to use. In the back, my mega of choice for this team is Gyarados, and it's running Outrage. Outrage has been critical in taking a lot of games from maybe wins to definite wins, because no Palkias are expecting Outrage, and it really helps in the Gyarados mirror. The third Pokemon in this team, as you could have expected, it's Crown Form Zacian, the power ceiling of the Master League right in front of your eyes here. But the reason why I like this league so much, before we get into the games here, Mega Master League is my favorite format of the GO Battle League. It's just because the Megas offer such a massive amount of just counterplay with these power ceiling crept Pokemon like Zacian and Palkia that it just makes it a little bit more of a balanced format. It's still pay to win, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit more accessible when you can use like a Gyarados, right? So let's get into the first game here and take a look at the Legend run. I went a total of 14-6 with this team. I had a 4-1 the first set. Then I had a 3-2, 2-3, so just kind of no gain, no loss. And then I finished off strong with a 5-0, and I feel like I just locked in with these games, man. It was incredible. Now, this is the first game, and this was my first game of the day, by the way. Like, out of the 4 sets, this is the first game of the day, and I was rusty. I wasn't really sure how to handle this thing in front of me, which is Mega Latios, which is an incredibly powerful Pokemon, and I will mention as well at the top of the video that if you're running Zekrom, I would actually think to flip Outrage to Crunch. I didn't throw Outrage a single time while I was running this team, but Crunch would have been really nice to be able to hit those Mega Latioses and Latiases for super effective damage. So, the opponent has the Crown Form Zacian, which is going to be on just about every team, as it is just the most dominantly powerful anti-dragon, which this entire meta is basically Dragon and Zacian cores. So, if you don't see it in the front, it's probably somewhere in the back. And in that case, you want to be able to save a shield advantage for your Gyarados to deal with the Zacian because you can beat it up a shield, or you need to find a way around it somewhere else. The nice thing here is that Gyarados locks down the Palkia matchups, is able to cleanly take a Spatial Rend, and the opponent, by throwing that Spatial Rend, actually gives me the energy to be able to go for Aqua Tails into the opponent's Mega Latios, and I'm going to shield once. If I have to, I'll shield twice, because I'm just going to be in a spot to be able to take this, hopefully, with the Gyarados. At least that's what I'm hoping. However, I'm also realizing that I'm getting pretty low here, and the opponent's Palkia has a lot of health, so I actually go for way too much farm. What I should have done was I should have thrown at least the Outrage, the Aqua Tails, something. Because at least I would have been able to get some chip damage in with the Aqua Tails, and I bet you that 1 Aqua Tail does enough damage to win me that game. So we start off on a shaking the rust off game 1, and we're going to win out from here. It's easy, right? Go undefeated to Legend, surely. Palkia in the next game, this is where having that 15 defense and having Crunch is helpful, because you can actually outpace the Palkia to its Spatial Rend by having Crunch and do some decent chip neutral damage to be able to do a good chunk of its health bar and maybe Dragon Breath down. Now this game, this is where my, like, Himothy comes out, okay? I catch the Spatial Rend, and I just pull that out of my rear end, dude. I'm not like, I know they're just getting a little bit past the Spatial Rend, but that was a completely, like, I'm just gonna catch and hope it works, and it does. And the opponent then brings in their Primal Kyogre to catch the move of their own, but I'm also like, I'm not gonna bother throwing close combat that early into the Kyogre matchup. Now, somewhere along the line, because I threw 10 Metal Claws, I should have been able to get to the move one turn before they did, but apparently I get some one-turn lag along the way somewhere, so I'm gonna come in with my Zekrom, just try and grin and bear it, overfarm as much as I can, dude. I cannot tell you how much value Zekrom's energy has in this meta. We're going to go for the Fusion Bolt, knock them out, and then in comes the Mega Gyarados because I'm low enough that they might try to snipe me with an Aqua Tail. I call it, I swap, but they have a Spatial Rend loaded, and that was painful. Now, opponent has a Zacian. Here's the cool thing about this, and this is going to be helpful knowledge for anybody looking to run this team. I don't want to stop the video right now. This is going to be a long video, by the way. I have like 3 sets to go through, so strap in for the ride. I have so many different matchups to be able to go through here, but the reason why this is important is because no matter what, you have to shield the moves from Zacian anyway. The Spatial Rend's not going to knock out, so I'm always going to save the shield for the Zacian and just shield everything and just barrage it with these Aqua Tails. The opponent's probably not going to bother going for close combat at this point either. They don't want to drop their defense when I have all this energy, and Behemoth Blade's still going to be enough to do pretty much a knockout from this range anyway. Gyarados is not very healthy right now, but we're going to be looking to just go for Aqua Tail after Aqua Tail after Aqua Tail. We have enough HP that we're never getting farmed down from the opponent's Zacian, but we do have to watch for a catch here. So opponent is going to go for the charge move, and then likely are going to try to bring in their Palkia at this point. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and swap right when I feel like they're going to get to that Aqua Tail, and I do it again, bro. I'm just pulling it out. At this point, this feels good. I'm like just riding high right now. I catch another Spatial Rend. We fully farm down, have the Aqua Tail for the Zacian, 2 of them, in fact. And I think this was the game where I'm like, okay, this might be happening. So let's go ahead and just roll through it and see what happens. Getting into our next battle here, we got Zacian on the lead. This is where I want to see it, to be honest. Zacian, for us in the back, is good because if I see Zacian in the lead, I'm almost going to assume there's going to be Dragons and or Gyarados back there. One of the most common teams in this Master League, Mega Master League rather, is Zacian, Palkia, Mega Gyarados. And when you see these Zacian leads, it's very important to try to find a way to get switch advantage. A lot of the times the opponents will probably swap out. And I shield up Zekrom in this game because I'm afraid of Play Rough. Like, I didn't see a single one throw Play Rough, but it's going to be the one time I don't shield that they have Play Rough. So, I decide that I'm going to let this next move go because they did not throw a Play Rough at me, so I'm assuming they don't have it. I live this close combat, and the opponent now brings in the Palkia, but I react too slowly and I get farmed down. And the opponent makes a very nice snag there. But now I'm going to read, this is Palkia, right? So I'm assuming there's a Gyarados in the back, and I'm going to save my Zacian for that. Gyarados is also a really solid counter to opposing Palkia. Now, so far we haven't had a chance to throw an Outrage. It's coming, trust me. At first I was like, man, maybe I should flip it back to Crunch because this just doesn't seem like it's working. I have to throw Outrage here to get a knockout. I'm not confident that an Aqua Tail is going to be enough. So I do. Outrage knocks out the Palkia, and the opponent does not have... They don't have a Gyarados in the back. They have a Mega Latios, and now I'm in real trouble. I go for an Aqua Tail thinking that they're going to come back in with that Zacian, or maybe even the Gyarados, regardless. But now I have to be very, very careful because the opponent is going to have a lot of damage pressure with these Aura Spheres, and they're super spammy. It's like 10 turns, isn't it? I think 10 Dragon Breaths to an Aura Sphere. It's something ridiculous like that, and those things hit. Like, it does half the damage of... Zekrom, which if you don't have Zekrom and you want to try this team, switch the Gyarados for Palkia, excuse me, and run Mega Latios or Latios in the lead. I would probably go Latios because it has a little bit more offensive power, but either way, you're going to do fine. In this end game, I needed to be able to race to the move here, and if I had not been able to farm down, I would have tried to key in on that on my health bar, and I would have swapped out, cleared the debuff, and just hoped that I still would have been able to get to a move. Good game to the opponent. So pardon the sniffles. My kids are sick. I don't know if I'm going to get it too, but something snifflies in my nose, man. The opponent has a Kyogre in the lead, and this is a fantastic lead for us. I'm going to go for the Fusion Bolt right away because we're 1 turn ahead from them getting the 1 turn delay on their switch. We're going to be able to throw this freely and then just swap in to get Mega Gyarados. And if I have to, I don't mind shielding. I'm going to get this full farm down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shield 1, then tank 1. Instead of tanking 1 and then shielding 1, because if I tank the Spatial Rend, then they are open to just throwing Aqua Tails at me. I would rather force them to throw 2 Spatial Rends because I feel like that'll guarantee me this farm down. And it does, which is really nice because Gyarados is going to be able to put a ton of pressure into, hopefully, right, the other common team that I see. If you see a Kyogre in the lead, it's probably Palkia Prima. So those are the two. That's the triple water team that we've seen quite a bit, and so be ready for it, right? A lot of this meta is team reading, and there's a lot of teams that you're just going to see over and over again. So I was able to, thankfully, draw upon some matchup knowledge from the last time this cup was run, and I was able to kind of use that and also remember some of these teams. Now, opponent is going to throw a move with the Kyogre. At this point, I'm going to overload because it takes them a while to get to that surf. I'm going to farm basically to 100 energy and throw a Fusion Bolt. And if the opponent decides to shield this, I'm going to farm up a little bit more and throw another one. If they don't, then I'm going to get a free shield against the opponent's Prima when it comes back in. And at that point, Zacian just hoses the thing with Mental Claws, and we're just good to go. Also, I'm not using my soundboard, which is going to make me kind of sad. I got to remember to use it, so I'm going to try to be better about that, because I know y'all love that soundboard. And we're getting into the next game here. Picking up, we're what 3-1 in the first set here, and Florges, uh-oh. Are you serious right now? Who the heck is running Florges in a meta dominated by Zacian? Opponent throws before they get to a Moonblast, so I'm letting this go. It turns out to be a Disarming Voice, so that's a bit obnoxious, but I'm going to be going for a Fusion Bolt here, just looking to apply some damage. This is what you do with Zekrom for the most part, is you kind of just try to pepper the opponent's lead and just hope that your backline is going to be able to handle it. Now, they have Zacian and probably I would expect that if I don't see a Zacian lead, again, I'm just going to assume it's in the back somewhere, and if they don't, then they probably got a Dragon of some kind. Either way, I'm going to take the opportunity to get some energy on Zacian, and there's a Primal Groudon on the back. Now, this is something I don't see as often. I genuinely have not seen a lot of Primal Groudons. I think this is the only one I saw the entire 4 sets that I ran, although I won't deny this thing is an absolute behemoth, and I'm terrified of it, because those Precipice Blades are just absolutely devastating. I'm going to go for the close combats here, look to try and catch a Fire Punch on Gyarados, but the opponent ends up throwing a few more fast moves, and I'm going to shield up here. It's like, if this is Precipice Blades, I'm going to, of course, it's a Fire Punch bait, and they're going to do it again. They're going to go for another move here. I'm shielding up again, and wouldn't you know it, it's another Fire Punch bait. Bro, I was seething at this point, but we have Palkia in there, and now this is what this is what Outrage is for, trainers. This is exactly what we have it. It's a trap. Knockout, and then Primal Groudon's gonna come back in. Now, the Outrage is a trap, but I'll give you guys some more boom-worthy buttons in a little bit, but I have to use the It's a Trap somewhere because I love that drop to bits. Now, we're gonna swap in, catch the trainer's move. Again, I'm pulling this catch out of my butt. I know that they're, like, close to one, but our Zacian gets absolutely cooked. But guess what? Gyarados is absolutely lightning quick on these Aqua Tails. Gonna be able to get the knockout on the opponent's Groudon and take that one. Well played to the opponent. And we get to wrap up the first set going 4-1, and my dreams for a Legend push are alive. We started at right around 2,900. I think I ended like at 2,907 yesterday when I was trying out the championship meta, and I was getting kind of not having good results, and I went to Mega Master League because I'm like, man, I enjoyed this. This was fun. And here we are against the Zygarde. Now, this is the second set. I cut out the third set because I feel like I just didn't play very well, and the games that were in that set, which was a 2-3, they weren't really adding anything to the video, so I ended up leaving them out just so because 3 sets is already kind of a long video. I don't want to do too much. Some of you wouldn't mind a 40-minute video, I guess, but but I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was adding very much to the video, so I let it be. But we're gonna go for the Behemoth Blade here. The opponent, thankfully, is not swapping out. I am very happy with that. Catching that Outrage, by the way, was nasty work. We're going to just go for a close combat here. At this point, I've gotten rid of the Zygarde, and I'm happy enough knowing that there's probably a Zacian in the back. And there it is, wouldn't you believe it? So we have a lot of energy, by the way, available on the Zekrom, which is what I'm going to come in with now and look to start hurling off these Fusion Bolts. Now, this massive amount of energy that we farmed up at the beginning, I did that specifically because I knew that there was going to be a Zacian in the back, and I needed to be ready for it later in the game. Now, I got to go down a shield here, but the opponent's going to bring in whatever they have in the back, and it being a Mega Gyarados, it's not going to appreciate Fusion Bolts. And if I had to, I would have shielded to get there. But I'm going to go ahead and throw one of these. If I get the shield, I'm going immediately to Zacian. Otherwise, I was going to throw the second one and try and get... Like, if I hadn't got the shield there, it would have been a really awkward endgame. The opponent would have been able to live that Fusion Bolt. Gary's pretty tanky, but I bring in my Gyarados at this point thinking they're just going to have Crunch Aqua Tail. By the way, no, they have Outrage. They're in on the sauce, and unfortunately for me, that's a tough one because Outrage is going to do a lot of damage here, but we CMP tie the opponent, and even though they have the best Buddy Boost on, they must not have it equipped. I go ahead and shield an Aqua Tail here because I'm confident I can get this farm down, and then the opponent proves me wrong, and they have another Aqua Tail. So, unfortunately, that's going to do a lot of damage to us based on what we have left, but we're not going to get taken out yet, and the opponent does not have enough fast move pressure on the Zacian to get a snipe, which is, I think, what they were trying to do. Aqua Tail is going to be able to get this knockout. Not quite. But the Dragon Breaths afterwards are good. It's very close. The opponent knows they're not going to have a good time because they have no HP left on the Gyarados, and good game to them. Another Primal Kyogre lead, and immediately I'm assuming, again, it's that triple water team, but the opponent throws me for a loop, and they go in for Dialga. And I know that this is a Zacian bait out, but I don't have a choice, right? Because I can't really... I mean, I guess I could bring in Gyarados, but they have Thunder, and now suddenly I'm glad I didn't. So, I don't know if Gyarados is the right thing to bring in here, but, like, them having Thunder kind of makes this, like, alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and just hope that this works out. We go for the close combat, we're gonna be able to get rid of the Dialga, but I have to go for this close combat before the opponent can farm me down, and I'm now not gonna have my Zacian available anymore when I'm pretty sure there's a Primarina in the back, which is about to hose my whole face off. So, in comes the Prima that I was definitely expecting to be back there, and now it's time for Zekrom to go to work. And of course, I start off throwing on bad timing, give them a whole free charm, and that's just not what I wanted to have happen. So we're going to go for as much energy as possible. This is absolutely worth a shield for me because I need to get their final shield if I have any hope of winning this game. We're going to go for the Fusion Bolt here, and then I have to swap out to Gyarados, and as much as I really don't want to, we're going to have to make this happen with Aqua Tails. We're going to come in with Gyarados. Gyarados is going to be looking to start holding, getting some energy together here, looking to get as much as possible while the opponent's going for these charms. I'm hoping they don't bait me, but of course they do. It's a Hydro Cannon, and they're rapidly approaching a range where 2 Aqua Tails would knock out. I'm trying to actively farm up as much energy as humanly possible before they can get to another charge move. I know I'm going to win CMP here, but the opponent actually swaps into the Kyogre immediately, and they throw a move, and I'm like, no, there's no way this is a Thunder. It's a Surf. I hopefully live this. It's going to do a lot of damage, but we do survive it. Max farm on energy. I need to be within, like, 1 or 2 of the Aqua Tail to be able to get one. We're at 1 HP. Gyarados needs it. 1 away from the Aqua Tail. We're going to make it within that 1 charm, and Aqua Tail is going to be able to get this knockout. Energy Masterclass. I'm proud of some of these games, man. That was, like, looking back on that, I'm proud of that game. Well played to the opponent, but get your Prima out of my face, man. And a Mega XehrFelrose, another enjoyer of the Electric Dragons, but we have the superior Electric Dragon. Opponent has a Florges in the next game as they're going to swap into it after losing lead to the XehrFelrose. The Dragon Breaths would be ripping through the XehrFelrose while they're just doing double resisted Volt Switch damage. So they're swapping out here to bait something out so that they can get some farm. The idea here for them is probably bait out the Zacian so that they can get some energy on the XehrFelrose and do work with it. But here's the thing. I have a switch timer that'll be coming back up soon, and I'm just going to immediately pivot back into Zekrom because I'm assuming, again, the opponent has a Zacian in the back, and if they do, Zekrom is going to do an absolutely fantastic job into this matchup. Now, the opponent is not going to be able to get to a move here, or they choose to overfarm, and we're going to be able to go for 2 close combats thanks to that overfarm. Immediate pivot right back into the Zekrom. I expect the opponent to have Dragon Pulse. We already got a shield. I'm going to go ahead and shield myself. Dragon Pulse gets the shield, and the opponent now brings in a Primarina. But you know what? We have a massive amount of energy to start with, and we're going to be able to get to 2 Fusion Bolts and clock this Prima off the planet, bro. I'm so excited for this. Yeah, you get a shield, and then we're going to go for the Fusion Bolt. I'm going for it right away. I'm not going to let them get any more charm damage through. Oh, Prima, you came to the wrong... You came to the wrong neighborhood. The opponent comes back in with the Mega XehrFelrose, but we still have a whole Gyarados, but the opponent won't even be able to get to it because we're farming him down and taking that game. Well played. Love the XehrFelrose, by the way. Palkia on the lead in the next game. Again, wishing I had Crunch and a best buddied Zekrom. Haven't been able to get around to doing it yet. Now, opponent here would have actually, I think, been able to win Charge Attack Priority. At least I think that. I think they do, don't they? And so they don't throw the Spatial Rend, so I'm actually just going to bring in Zacian and use that as a way to absorb this energy. The opponent is going to stay in, and they're just going to cook me, bro. That's the Fire Blast. I knew there was one in here. There's the Fire Blast game. I'm absolutely cooked. Zekrom comes back in, coping as hard as I possibly can. And you can see there's a difference in the amount of HP that is being drawn away from my Zekrom from these Dragon Tails. And I'm just really sad that I didn't get to my Fusion Bolt. And the fact that they were able to get all this energy, like the Fire Blast, like it makes sense, but man, of all the places for that to happen. And so now this really good set turns into a not legend set just because of that Fire Blast, I think, to be honest. Because I think we were within range of a 4-1 potentially putting us over the line here. No, we weren't. No, it was after the 3-2. After this set, I would have been in range. I needed like a 5-0 from this range, so don't mind me reminiscing about things that never happened. I have 2 shields, and I don't know what's in the back. They've shown Palkia, so at this point, it's Palkia Zacian's been released. I just need to be able to know what their Mega is. It could be anything, but quite honestly, I don't know that Gyarados is going to have a great time into it unless it's a Mega Latios or something that I can maybe throw an Outrage at. Opponent doubles up on moves to try and get both of my shields, and they succeed. Close Combat is going to be able to get my final shield here. I want to farm down so bad, but I'm afraid they're going to get to a move, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw this Aqua Tail after farming up as much as I think I can. And I just hope they have a dragon in the back. But nope, it's a Primal Kyogre. And if I had just a little bit more HP, this might actually work out in my favor, because this Outrage will hurt a lot. But unfortunately, because of the amount of damage we've already sustained and the fact that we have no shields, I'm just going to get surfed, and then we're going to take the loss here. So good game to the opponent. Unfortunately, not going in our favor there. But, I mean, Fire Blast gets them the game, and it is what it is. They did well. They deserve it. Good game. Mega Gyarados on the lead in the next game. This is a deceptively good lead because while they have the Dragon Breaths, they have also Water typing. And I'm going to go straight for a Fusion Bolt. The opponent only is ever going to have a Crunch here, and so I'm fine with letting this go and just swapping out after they throw this Fusion Bolt to get an early shield. That often is what helps here. If you get an early shield, you can safe swap into Zacian. If they have a Ho-Oh, then so be it, but I have not seen a single Ho-Oh because of all the water types. The opponent's staying in here as well, and the fact that they're doing that leads me to believe that they may not like this thing, the Zacian in the back, and so I'm going to stay, of course I'm going to stay, I'm Switch Lock. I'm going to stay, XehrFelrose, come on, man. I'm gonna go ahead and shield this one move up, and I'm gonna throw these close combats. I just want to get rid of this Gyarados at this point. I don't know what's in the back, but again, I have ways to deal with a Zacian. We're gonna see them swap into it, and then they're gonna have a Florges in the back. So it's a double fairy line with Zacian in the back, and I'm not really confident about this game suddenly because I have a Gyarados, I have a shield advantage. But what help is it going to be? So I'm going to come in with Zacian here to try and get them to throw all this energy at the Zacian, and then I'm going to hope that my Gyarados with a shield advantage is going to be able to clean up this game. So the opponent is going to go for the Chilling Waters. I feel like I kind of have to shield here, which is really unfortunate. But I'm going to try and see if I can get this farm down. And the opponent's going to bring in their Zacian. I'm going to swap out, bank a close combat, and now I'm just going to do as much damage as I possibly can. I'm pretty sure that the opponent's Florges should not be able to get to a move based on how much energy they look like they were going to get. And if they get to a move, then so be it. But I don't think they can, as long as we keep Zacian alive to deal with it later. We're going to go for the Aqua Tails, and at this point, I'm just hoping that I can get a close combat to land here. And so that's kind of my hope. And then I should be able to farm down the opponent's Florges with my Zacian. However, because I overthink things way too much, I don't remember how much HP was on my Zacian in the moment because I was so laser focused on the matchup. I wasn't worried about how much HP my Zacian had, and I didn't realize how low it was until it was too late, of course. I come in and I get farmed down when I really could have just thrown that close combat, farmed down the Florges, hopefully, and if I couldn't, then they win anyway. But either way, we're picking up a 3-2. Again, I skipped the 2-3 in between because I didn't really feel like it added any value, and we're getting into the final set here. This is the 5-0 to Legend, and of course, we get started off with a saucy Primal Kyogre lead. Now, the opponent's going to bring in a Zacian, and I have an answer in the back in the form of Gyarados, and so I'm going to actually stay in and play this matchup out, and the opponent is going to go ahead and throw here. I really shouldn't shield this. I was thinking they might be full sending a close combat right away. I genuinely think that, like, there's no sense for them to drop their defense so early in the matchup before I throw energy. It was a safe no shield, but I was also worried about play rough, which I have absolutely been on the receiving end of before, and that would have probably lost me the game on the spot, so I didn't want to take that risk. Now, the opponent going for Behemoth Blade, there's no way that they actually have play rough at this point, but Close combat would come pretty close to knocking out, and they've already thrown these Behemoth Blades. I feel like I can get to another Fusion Bolt or two potentially before they can get to a close combat, and so I'm going to try to. I'm going to go for this one right here, and if they get the close combat, they can knock me out, but the opponent lets it go, and we're going to get their shield right back with the Primarina coming in. The opponent is not going to be happy to see the Zekrom, bro. This is just not their day. Primarina's not going to be able to get this charm down because Zekrom denies him right now, and Zekrom going for the Fusion Bolt, trying to get the knockout. Absolutely clocks the Primarina, and in comes Primal Kyogre, and they're just not going to have a good time because we are going to be able to get this Outrage in before they can get to a Thunder, and at that point, Zacian should be able to survive any one move plus the Waterfalls to be able to get to a close combat against the Primal Kyogre, and they have to throw right now before I'm able to get to another move here. Thunder gonna get the knockout on Gyarados, heavy damage, but in comes the Zacian, and from here it's just going to the close combat. They need at least another couple of Waterfalls to get to another Thunder. Surf is not going to be able to get a knockout from this range, so we're going to be able to take this one. Well played to the opponent. All right, next game up, we got Zekrom on the lead versus Primarina, and yeah, I don't really feel good about this, but the amount of times that I've seen Primarina, I'm pretty sure that I can get both shields off of this opponent before they can get one of mine, or at least both of mine, I should say, or before they can get a full charm down. So I'm going to go for these Fusion Bolts and try and see if I can win this matchup. I'm going to go ahead and try and catch a Fairy type move. I don't know if this is going to be a Disarming Voice or a Moonblast. I don't remember what the counts to with Charm are now, but we're going to swap in, catch that energy, and we have an extra shield to help with as well. But Prima's still pretty healthy, so I'm going to have to try to see if I can get some energy off of this Kyogre on the Zekrom. I think that's my key to victory here. I'm going to just double up on close combats and send them both. The opponent decides they don't want a shield. That's fine. At least I can get rid of this Kyogre, but we're going to go straight for the double close combat. The opponent has a choice to make. Are they going to put up that final shield? They are not. They get knocked out here. And I'm going to go ahead and let myself get farmed down. Now, Gyarados can come in, and here's another important thing. And the opponent, I think, makes a mistake here by not swapping sooner. They give me all this energy, probably thinking that, oh, it's fine. I wall this energy. There's no reason for me not to get energy on my Palkia. But what you don't know is how much damage these Aqua Tails do and how quickly this Gyarados can get to them. And all of a sudden, now they're going to have to spend a shield in order to beat my Gyarados, because we have Aqua Tails. Now, the opponent's going to go for another charge move. I'm hoping they just throw the Disarming, and I shield it correctly, and thankfully I do. This is actually a situation where I'm going to try and farm down. I'm going to just by the hair of my chinny chin. And then the opponent has energy on the Palkia, and I'm going to call that they're going to try to make a snipe. They go for the Aqua Tail. We don't. Oh, we do. We get to the Fusion Bolt, and this immediately locks the game because we're going to be able to go for the Outrage on the Gyarados as soon as we come back in, and this is exactly why I love it, because we just get to own all the Palkias. Gyarados' Palkia's daddy confirmed. Oh, yeah. Good game. Next game up, we got Zekrom on the lead here against the opponent, Zacian, looking to play this matchup out again. And if I know I haven't really mentioned it, I'm just kind of showing you guys and kind of going through my thought process here. But the way that you want to play out the Zacian leads is you want to basically double up on Fusion Bolts and throw them pretty much back to back. I sometimes try to CMP tie the opponent on that close combat, but half the time they either just over farm too much, and the other half of the time it just doesn't happen. So that is... take that with what you will. I've started to just kind of double up and throw them just back to back regardless, because I'll still get a shield that way, and they're less inclined to swap out and catch if I have not thrown, if I've thrown my energy and they still don't have a defense drop. But the opponent has the Mega Latios in the back here, and this is kind of like, this is kind of bad for Zacian, to be honest, but just because of how hard those Aura Spheres hit, and I have it pretty low. I'm going to let this go here. I think this knocks out. It does. I'm going to look for farm on Zekrom here, because I feel like that's going to be valuable to get me back in the game against the Zacian. I've also seen from prior games how much an Aura Sphere does. It's going to do quite a bit, but not quite enough, and now Zekrom's going to be able to have this move banked and loaded. I'm going to swap out to my Gyarados if I can. If I see anything other than Zacian come back in, the opponent comes in with a Palkia, and Zacian does come back in. It has a little bit more than a close combat, I believe. They throw the Behemoth Blade, trying not to drop their defense, but unfortunately for them, the Aqua Tail is going to do almost enough here, and at that point, I'll be able to farm down or get to another Aqua Tail. The opponent no shielding, and I get the low battery warning, and I freak out, but thankfully we get the farm down, and then guess what? We have Outrage, and they're not shielding it.
Exodia! Obliterate!
Taken out because they were expecting the crunch. Good game. prime example of Outrage just winning a game by existing. I have never felt like I needed Crunch, genuinely, on the Gyarados. I would put Crunch on the Zekrom. I think I said that already, but I would definitely put Crunch on the Zekrom in hindsight after these games today. And then just Outrage Gyarados is disgusting, dude. So Zekrom is going to throw a Fusion Bolt here, and I'm going to throw it right away. The opponent here does not seem to... I don't know, they didn't seem like they threw energy and CMP'd, but they waited a turn, actually, to shield anyway. I don't know. Close combat doesn't quite knock out here, and the opponent does have a Mega Gyarados come in. I'm up a shield. I have a Zacian in the back. I'm immediately going to swap this in, overfarm to double close combats, and then let them both rip. The opponent can do whatever they want with the Aqua Tails. They'll still need 3 for a knockout. If they catch me on a CMP tie, that Aqua Tail right now, which they did catch me in a CMP tie here, it's going to hurt quite a bit, but it's not going to be something that I'm necessarily worried about. I know I can live this. It does like just a hair around 50%. But it doesn't quite knock out. It's like 48% or something like that. It's very close to half, but not quite. We're going to be able to fire off another close combat. The opponent's getting taken out and just not having a good time. Now Gyarados comes in, looks to overfarm here because I know I need to. The opponent does go for a charge move, but that just gives me even more incentive to be able to overfarm. By the way, here's another Palkia. Do you know what's coming? You know what's coming. We're going to be able to get this off, and I'm looking for a good button because I don't want to use the same one over and over again, but you know what? Oh, that was the wrong button. I paused the music. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, the technical difficulties, the scuff. Oh, no. Good game, though. We still took him out. And looking for the 5-0. And the reason why this is an important game, this is the decisive game 5. Even though we're at 29-63, I think. We had a 200-point down pair in game 1. I don't know if you saw. I'm pretty sure that was a 2700 elo player that got paired up in the 2900s with me. So that, if I go 4-1, I feel like there's a chance that I might not be able to make it. So I need to pull out all the stops, and the opponent hits me with something that's even more awkward than a Latios. Mega Rayquaza. This is a problem. So I'm going to go for the Fusion Bolt. I get an early shield, just like all the other Dragon Leads. I'm going to swap into Zacian after getting that shield advantage, because again, I'm expecting them to also have a Zacian in the back. So I want to get some energy, and if I have a shield advantage, I can always beat their Zacian as well. The opponent, however, running Zekrom, a fellow Zekrom enthusiast, we're going to be able to double up on close combats. The opponent might actually have a Fusion Bolt stocked up here, and it looks like they did actually CMP tie us. So very nice timing by the opponent. I'm going to put up a shield here and overfarm just a little bit more because I think they had just basically gotten to the Fusion Bolt, and then I'm going to go for just a few. I don't want to get too greedy. I just want to get enough to make it so that I can try to get rid of this thing, and I'm actually going to go ahead and pivot into Gary, I think is what I did here. As soon as I see the Necrozma, no, I'm going to go ahead and go for the close combat, and then I'm going to go ahead and pivot out because the Mega Rayquaza has energy, and I have to be careful of it. Oh no, I pivot into Zekrom. See, dude, it's been 12 hours since I played these battles as of recording. Opponent goes for the Dark Pulse. We unfortunately don't get to a move anymore, but the opponent brings in the Mega Rayquaza. Gyarados is going to come in here, and I'm looking to shield this up no matter what it is. I'm like, surely you're not going to bait me with a Breaking Swipe. You're going to go full sending the Dragon Ascent, and of course they bait me with a Breaking Swipe. So I now kind of have to overfarm here, and I'm going to actually look to go for an Aqua Tail. I noticed that my timer's coming back up, and if it is, I'm going to swap as soon as I can. The opponent waits the turn to make sure I don't swap, and I throw the Dragon Breath, and unfortunately for them, that means that I'm also going to be able to catch the Dragon Ascent. And now Necrozma's going to come back in, and the opponent concedes knowing that they don't have any damage that can take out Mega Gyarados from this range. And my goodness, that's a 5-0 to Legend, dude. This is the best. This feels so good. Like, this team was one that I had started using way back in the first rotation of Mega Master League this season. And also, that Gyarados on the screen, that's a Shundo Gyarados, and I'm so proud of it because that was my first Shundo ever. Like, that was actually I can tell you the story real quick before I end the video. That was Magikarp Community Day, all the way back in 2020. It was the first time I'd, like, actually played a full event. I was getting right back into the game after taking that break since 2016, and it was the last second spawn on the Incense right at 6 p.m., just as the event was about to end. It was a shiny Magikarp, and I checked it was a Hundo, and I'm like, oh my god. And here it is, securing Legend for us in this Mega Master League, which it looks like they finally fixed. I'm so glad, dude. Mega Master League is by far my favorite format to play as a dolphin/whale. it's nice to be able to put all the megas and everything to use. It feels like a true Master League, you know what I mean? So anyway, let me know in the comments if you guys like the team, if it helps you climb at all. I hope it does, because it really worked wonders for me over the course of the Mega Master League, both last time and this time. It just like immediately just took me up points both times. So I know this is a great team. It takes a little bit of finesse with the Zekrom, but once you figure out the matchups and you get comfortable with it, this team just runs itself and it's really strong. So hope you guys have a great rest of your rotation. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you as always. Bye-bye.